Swansea still Dylan Thomas's ugly, lovely town, all these years after his death? It's a city known for the beauty of its bay, its industrial past, a long-running football saga, for the hills and the terraces and the sea. It's the real capital of Wales, particularly of South and West Wales, often called the graveyard of all ambition, because people come here from all parts of the world and never leave again. Swansea weaves its own spells. But most of all, it's known all over the world as Dylan Thomas's town, the setting for so many of his stories and poems. But what of Swansea now, the Swansea of the 80s?
Dylan Thomas used to come along this road here every day on his way to school. But what he never mentioned in any of his writing was this hill here, which is one of the most spectacular features of the city of Swansea. It's very steep, as you can see, and it's called Constitution Hill, and it forms the setting of many of my poems.
But what of Swansea now, the Swansea of the 80s? It is still a place of poetry, but it is our town now. The young Rambo of Cumdonkin Drive ran away to seek his fortune in London and America many years ago. It is the women of Swansea who are writing today's poetry, bringing up children, keeping the terraces clean, coping with household catastrophes, drinking and dreaming, sharing secrets. This is the Swansea which belongs not to the young dog of 40 years ago, but to the women of the terraces, Swansea's mothers and daughters, living and writing today.
Ar ran honno Academy Gymraeg a Dylanau croeso I chi gyd heno. On behalf of Honno, the Welsh Women's Press, the Welsh Academy and Dylanau, I welcome you all this evening. We are very proud to be presenting Penny's second volume of poetry from Honno Press. And I'm not going to go into any great lengthy discussion of the matter, but I would like you all to welcome Penny. And when the reading is over, she'll be signing the book.
So very roughly then, I selected some opening poems which are about women's lives and their secrets. Then a short selection of love poems of various sorts, or one of them is an anti-love poem, I'd call it, followed by 3 humorous poems about everyday life or everyday experiences, and ending with, for the sake of a label, social comment poems. It's a crude classification, but probably better than no classification at all.
Is that your new baby? I'm still on it. Thanks very much. Sorry,
You were when you started dating 62.
We are the terraced women, piled row upon row on the sagging, slipping hillsides of our lives. We tug reluctant children up slanting streets, the pushchair wheels wedging in the ruts. Breathless and bad-tempered, we shift the Tesco carrier bags from hand to hand and stop to watch the town. The hilltops creep away like children playing games. Our other children shriek against the schoolyard rails. There's Mandy's mum, John's mum, Dave's mum, Kate's mum, Kerry's mother, Tracy's mummy. We wave with hands scarred by groceries and too much washing up, catching echoes as we pass of old, wild games. After lunch, more bread and butter, tea. We dress in blue and white and pink and white checked overalls and do the house and scrub the porch and sweep the street and clean all the little terraces up and down and up and down and up and down the hill. Later, before the end of school bell rings, or the babies are asleep, Mandy's mum joins Kerry's mum across the street, running to avoid the rain. And Dave's mum and John's mum, the others too, stop by for tea. And briefly, we are wild women, girls with secrets, travellers, engineers, courtesans and stars of fiction films, plotting our escape like jailbirds. Terraced, Tesco'd prisoners rising from the household dust like heroines. This house leaks, not just in one or two or three places, but everywhere, consistently, relentlessly. It rained last night, that unique Welsh rain, sweeping off the sea, twisting round the corners of the terraces, creeping under slates. And it began, the great leak. It starts a gentle tapping in the hall, tiptoe light. I know this one, the leak of the missing slate. It has its special orange bowl in the cupboard under the stairs. Then the bathroom roof. More tricky this. A sly leak. Always just escaping 3 chamber pots, 2 buckets and a bowl aligned against the wall, forming puddles when my back is turned. And that rare and interesting leak produced by strange and sudden storms blowing wildly from the sea. A hyperactive leak travelling lengths of living rooms, back and round and down and not at all and here and there. A leak among leaks. I greet them like old foes, knowing I am not alone. The tapping of rain sounds in houses all over town. The last common cause. We, the people of Swansea, city of falling employment and football fortunes, we who survived the county council palace on the foreshore, the wave machine, the fun tube, the blind and mice best bloom competition, the death of Dylan Thomas, the never-warm central heating plan, the taffia, the blitz, we defy this drift into dampness with dozens of buckets, hundreds of bowls, a regiment of chamber pots, and fight against impossible odds for council repairs or improvement grants, surviving with unflinching courage, flying condensation, evaporation, domestic mushrooms, advancing black mould. It rained again last night. That unique Welsh rain sweeping off the sea, twisting round the corners of the terraces, creeping under slates. And it's begun. The great South Walian leak. Tasting for elderberry is to pick the perfect purple bottle on the right, to pour slowly, to take a lazy sip, to hold it to the light, to say, this reminds us of rhododendrons, whortleberry afternoons on Gower, juice stains on clothes, all long ago. It is to feel time hang somewhere out to sea, lost to a sun shining at the very edges of our glass. It is to laugh, assess, sweeter than the apple, more fruity than the peach, a shade more potent than last autumn's blackberry. It is to reminisce our altogether satisfactory past, to roam our futures, planning here, adjusting there, to roll gently among simple dreams. It is to smile warily at glasses emptied in the afternoon, remembering some time ago there might have been murmurs, whispers, a touching of hands and hair, a possible seduction.
good waster of a woman, drinking wine in bed, hair unkempt, face crinkled up with sleep and sex. I dream away the days, watching the sun steal unswept rugs, catching dots of dust, basking. The sun seduces me, my breaths are sweet and ripe, and I am full of juice, like oranges. Oh, I am a lovely, wanton, wicked, wayward waster of a woman. I've been banned from in Swansea. I've been banned from the rank for joining in a fight and living on Town Hill. Banned from the cricketers for shouting at the manager, for shouting at a friend. And I've been banned from the townsmen for kicking men who said, "Smile, it hasn't happened yet," and warned away from County Hall for saying it should be bombed in a letter to a man in education. I've been banned from couples dues because I am divorced, and banned from married homes because I live in sin. And I'm not really welcome in shops, in pubs, in conferences because I have a child, or cafes because I have a dog, or Burnians because I'm vegetarian. And I'm treated as a trifle suspect by the left because I'm feminist, by CND because I go to Greenham, by serious and deadly workers in the field for writing poetry. And recently, I've been banned from the coach house for reading out my poetry. So, if I could only give up the poetry, the politics, the feminist beliefs, the dog, the man, the child, the running wild, I'd be home and dry, which is why I don't.
There are different ways of getting up a hill. Having lived here all my life, I know them all. The conversation with a friend way, the pint of Stella in the Tembe way, the ticking off the terraces, examining the cobblestones, talking to the skyway, walking so you face the town, pretending it's the first time, expressing admiration for the view, surmising, revising, imagining you're old or young or super strong, thinking it's not a hill at all, it's in the mind, believing the exercise causing pain must therefore do some good, the Pooh Bear humming all the day way. I salute you, all the cowing lot of you, Woodlands, Oaklands, Rhondda, Rosehill, Penmine and the rest. But don't expect me to wax lyrical on your behalf, make some image about life and Constitution Hill. Just a note, to all those people still traipsing up the terraces. There are many different ways of getting up a hill. Swimming in the fast lane, the water caresses my skin like silk. I am not just afloat, not just drifting as one might on a sunny day in the sea. I am like a grand sailing ship with the wind behind it, making for the open, sailing to the sky. Swimming in the fast lane, the water slips from my skin as easily as rain. I stroke it away and around and back to me, testing and teasing and tickling. The water is mine, colluding in my getaway, tempting with the sweetness of my strength, the beguiling rhythm of my limbs, seductive, soft green strokes. Swimming in the fast lane, I know I will not be back. I am making for the open, far away places where no one has ever been. One day soon, I will swim to the sky.